Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Tim Vixay with my crippled friend, and this is episode number 33. If I remember that right. I got in studio Eric Bramwell, also better known as Chops. What's going on, dude?
Hey, man, how's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. We had you on a couple episodes ago. I want to say like maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago, but it was the big group, which was great. That was your first time on, and that was cool because it was just like that was the most guest I've ever had on the podcast. But it's kind of cool to, we agreed I wanted to get you back on, just do a little one-on-one. That way I can kind of get to know you a little bit better. So
For sure.
let's dive right into that, I guess. Well, actually, before we begin anything, it is Monday night, December 2nd. And we just watched the Seahawks kind of spank the Vikings. So
Yeah, boy.
if there's any Seahawks fans out there, how about them 12s? But yeah, let's get into it. Where did you grow up?
I was born up in Arlington, Washington, but grew up mainly up around here in the Portland area.
Where's Arlington?
It's like north of Seattle.
North of Seattle. How far? Like past, what is that, Bellingham?
Yeah, up towards there. Man, I don't even know. I was so young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just know Arlington.
But then you all came down here.
Yeah, my dad was a pastor in Linwood, Washington for a bit when I was a kid. Yeah.
I would have never.
I know. My parents went to Bible college and everything.
Is that where they met?
Yeah. Master's College, California.
Did you grow up pretty religious or?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, having a dad as Baptist pastor is kind of hard not to, you know?
Right, yeah. Would you say, I mean, I don't want to dive too far into like religion or anything, but would you say you're still pretty religious now or?
Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty firm in my beliefs still.
Yeah. Right on. So you went to high school
at Barlow. Yeah.
What kind of kid were you in high school?
I was a fucking nerd.
Oh, for real? You didn't play any sports or anything?
I did for a bit. I did some basketball in middle school and then soccer, and I wanted to do soccer in high school, but back then my parents weren't really rolling with the money, so they weren't really able to afford it. But
yeah.
A couple years later, I was able to do snowboard team, so that worked out.
Right on. Yeah, and that's like, I mean, dude, we live in one of the best spots for snowboarding, in my opinion, just because the season runs so long and the mountain's so close, you know?
Yeah, you can ride all year at T-Line in the summertime.
I had a season pass at Timberline for, like 7 seasons. Nice. Yeah, we actually, when we first signed up for it, the youth passes or the junior passes were like $99. Yeah. And we actually lied about my age. So when I got my first one, I think I was like, might have been like 11, but we lied and told them I was 8. So I was able to milk another like 3 years out of it. Nice. But yeah, man, we used to go up like every weekend, dude. It was dope. I love snowboarding. That was I guess one of those things I'm gonna miss, you know. But
I definitely miss it. I used to teach snowboarding like every season to get a pass. So
what's stopping you from doing it now?
Well, my knee more than anything.
Yeah.
Because I need a knee replacement.
Just gotta get a nice little robotic brace for it.
Oh, they got me one. Actually, I met Kevin's prosthetic
person.
Yeah. Whoever makes the legs. Yeah. The other day. That's where I went and got my brace done. So I got that for riding, but it's still been a while.
Now, like when you were in high school, did you kind of have any idea what you wanted to do post-graduation or?
Yeah, I wanted to be a pilot.
Oh, yeah? Like commercial pilot or?
Yeah, commercial pilot? Or military, either one. I actually wound up getting in debt at Mount Hood Community College in their flight program.
Oh, yeah. So, I had a friend that went through that program.
It's expensive.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. So then did you waited a couple, how long did you wait till you went in the Army?
I didn't go in so I got in debt in college, had to drop out of the flight program, joined the Olive Garden to be a waiter.
All right. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, it's all about that Principado Rosa.
They're in Gresham or in Clackamas?
And Gresham.
Okay.
And and then I joined the Army, and then they offered me Airborne School. It was like, sweet. So I joined at like 21, I want to say.
Yeah. What year was this?
2004.
Okay, so post 9/11.
Yeah.
Was that like, how did that decision go over with your parents?
They were a little, I think, more afraid for me than anything. They believe in me, but
Yeah, especially in 2004.
yeah,
like
stuff was kicking off.
Yeah,
so.
Iraq was just starting to wake up.
Yeah,
I was like, oh.
And when I went over, it was fucking just a shit show.
Yeah. So what? We'll get into that for sure, but I kind of want to keep things almost on the timeline, a little bit more structured this time. But so why the Army? Like, I'm not gonna give you shit.
Well, I went the Army because the Army is the one branch that allows you to fly without having a bachelor's degree.
Mm-hmm.
They have the warrant officer program. So I joined to do that, but because they wouldn't accept me into that right away, I was like, well, fuck, if I can't fly, might as well be infantry. If I have grandkids someday, I want to be like I was the guy on the front lines, not sitting behind a desk. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Nobody wants to hear war stories of you being a cook.
Pencil pushing.
Yeah. Now, every time you've had to explain your service to strangers or whatever, you always kind of dignify yourself as an airborne infantry.
Yeah.
And me coming from the Marine side of things, I don't know, not even a hint. I assume you went to Airborne School, but
right.
like what sets you guys apart from just the regular?
Well, there's what we call
regular grunt is what I'm trying to say.
Call them the legs.
Yeah.
The guys that march everywhere, and we pretty much march everywhere too. But the way it's structured, everyone in the military sports the infantry, at least in the Army side of things, and so you have your regular infantry, and then the step up from that is airborne infantry. The step up from that would be Rangers, and then after that, Green Berets. So every one above them thinks they're a little better than the rest, but it's the whole dick measuring thing in the Army.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Where'd you go to boot camp?
Fort Benning, Georgia, Old Sand Hill.
And that's pretty much from my understanding. That's where they sent all the infantry guys, right?
Yeah, now for sure. I think in the past it probably varied back towards Nam and stuff, but majority of the infantry now, at least post 9/11, I believe, is Fort Benning.
Yeah. What were your thoughts with Army boot camp like?
Well, it was like 3 months straight. So you do basic, and then you go straight into AIT, which is infantry school, and then from that we had like a weekend off, and then I went straight into Airborne School. So definitely get in shape. I mean, they don't give you much time off to do anything else, but
was there kind of an adjustment period, getting up early? And
a little bit, but I kind of mentally prepared. I already knew it was gonna suck.
Yeah.
So, but I wound up excelling. I guess I did all right. Came out of boot camp running a 5:15 mile.
Yeah.
58 2 miles. That was the fastest I'd ever been.
I was never a runner. And when I found out that the Marine PFT was 3 miles, I was like, I'm gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
Like I can barely run one.
Yeah.
You know, I hated running, but I mean, you get into that mental state, and it's like, all right, it's gonna fucking suck, but I'm gonna suck it up because
I still hate running.
Yeah, if I don't do it today, they're gonna make me do it again tomorrow, and
right.
Like, might as well just quote like embrace the suck.
Tell you what, dude, I've never seen so many guys be able to run after a weekend of drinking and just like puke it out on the run and do 8 miles.
Yeah, or even just like the night before when you wake up just hungover and you're like, oh shit, we got PT formation in like 15 minutes.
Like, shit, give me the medic quick. I need an IV bag.
Get an IV. Yeah. Dude, I was in Vegas maybe like 2 weeks ago, and they had a IV center in one of the hotels.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, and it was like, it looked all professional. Everyone's wearing lab coats and shit. I was like, that might be a veteran-owned business.
Yeah, that would be. I wish they had one of those here,
fuck,
man.
I wish I would have thought of that, man. Like, especially in Vegas. Because they had those oxygen things.
Yeah, the oxygen
and
bars.
I've done that, and that is actually kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just straight up IV fluids after a hangover.
Man, that gives you an extra couple hours of drinking after that. For
Yeah,
sure.
you're just like, all right, let's go. What is Airborne School like?
Airborne School is 3 weeks at Fort Benning, Georgia. A lot of PT, a lot of log PT, and they throw in pull-ups. So you got to start being able to do a bunch, 10 pull-ups per thing.
God, I want to dig on the Army so bad right
now. Now go for it, dude.
Well, it takes you guys to get to Airborne School to start doing pull-ups.
Yeah, it does. It's true.
We have to do 3 before we can leave boot camp.
Oh, yeah. Is that how it works in the Marines?
That's our minimum for our PFT.
Oh, okay.
So, like, every Marine can do 3.
3 of them.
Yeah. They do a different one for the females. They do a flexed arm hang, which is actually a little bit harder. Because if you ever try to meet their standards or get the max score for the females, I forget how long the time is, but...
So you say female Marines are more hardcore than male Marines.
Different muscles. Way different. I mean, I know guys that can do, 20 pull-ups, no problem, but when it comes to the flex arm hang,
yeah,
it's all a different muscle. But now, jumping in Airborne School, was that your first time...
Jumping out of a plane?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And you only do 5 jumps in Airborne School, so everything leads up until the last week when you do your jumps.
Yeah.
And that's where they call you a 5-jump chump. So a lot of guys will go through Airborne School and they'll get their wings, but then they'll never jump again.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I actually had a Marine buddy who, as part of his re-enlistment package, got to go to Airborne School.
Yeah.
And he says, fuck, it was all right.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't super.
Yeah. He says he should have just took the bonus and just fucking gone and did private lessons.
Yeah.
Because your 5 jumps, are they all just static?
Yeah, they're all static. Everything's static, yeah.
How's the landing on one of those?
It's not too bad. Everything I learned in infantry school and Airborne School really just prepared me for the suck of active duty, because it was like twice as bad.
Yeah.
Just like the weight you jump out with.
Right.
In a bird. And
how many pounds are we talking?
100 plus usually. Yeah.
That's that's a lot for your knees to take.
It is, dude. That's why one of my knees is like jacked. But you carry all that weight in your rucksack, but it's between your legs hanging like a giant sack.
Yeah.
And you waddle out, and then you want to drop it before you hit the ground, because if you land with your legs apart in that sack between you, you're just going to break your legs. So you have to release it.
Freaking horrible. Leave it to the Army to take something as cool as jumping out of a plane and just ruining it for everyone.
And then they shipped my ass to Alaska, and who the fuck knew they had airborne that jumped into snowstorms and stuff in Alaska? I didn't.
Yeah.
So that was a nice.
That's pretty much your first duty station right after you completed all your schools and everything.
Yeah. I thought I was going 82nd or to Italy, to the other main airborne unit, and they sent me 501st, which is awesome. But I had to look them up on the internet with my buddies, be like, I've never fucking heard of this.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on Alaska?
They ship you up there as a private, and it's wintertime. So you get up there and the light's not out. So it's dark all day except for while you're at work, and then you get off, and you don't have a TV, you don't have a car, you don't have anything. So you're like stuck in this misery of -30.
How big is the base up there?
It's pretty big. It's attached to an Air Force base too. So
okay.
Yeah.
That kind of helps a little bit.
It does. I mean, he's got some Air Force girls around.
That's where I was going with it. Yeah. Because I don't know what the ratio is like in Alaska, but
it's not great.
Yeah, I'm sure having those few Air Force zoomies around would have been just enough.
Well, and I love Alaska, but the women up there, I mean, you have to have a little bit of a crazy vibe to live up there in that kind of environment.
Takes a special kind of lady.
Yeah. It's got to be hardcore. None of these prissy ones are out here.
Right. Yeah. Which, I mean, it's not always going to be a bad thing, but
no.
when you're a young 20-year-old, private in the Army, you're just like, Give me something.
Yeah.
Dang. So you went to Georgia like in the summer when it was all humid and shit.
Like the fall time, yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't as bad.
It wasn't as bad, but it was still pretty miserable.
And then just straight to freaking Alaska in the winter.
Yeah, so whether the infantry school, the way it works out, instead of doing like your basic and then they send you somewhere else for your AIT, for your, they call it advanced infantry training, but the other one would be, I forget what it's called, but whatever your specialty class is that you would train for.
Yeah.
There, they just run you all the way through it straight, basically. So
that's definitely a unique path. And then so after checking into your unit, like when did you know you were going to get deployed? Because it's pretty inevitable. I mean, 2004, and it's like we're in the middle of fighting 2 wars.
When I got there, they had just gotten back from Afghanistan, so I knew it was going to happen, but it was still going to be, a little bit.
Yeah.
So I had a good, I want to say year, maybe 2 before we deployed.
Yeah.
So
at least you had some time, and then also going into a unit that already had a couple, combat deployments under their belt.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, like, were most of your NCOs like, did they already have their combat infantry badge? Or
yeah, a lot of the upper echelon or the higher ranking guys either had CIBs or combat patches for sure. So
yeah,
there was a lot to look up to when you first come in. You're like, oh fuck, these guys have already deployed.
Yeah, that was
shit.
Pretty much my experience from. I mean, the minute I got in was like, all my recruiters had their combat action ribbons, and say 3 out of the 4 drill instructors I had all had seen combat. So it was just like, man, like,
yeah, you just feel like
it becomes different. It becomes real.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can watch the videos on the news and everything, but until you actually meet someone who like was there, like it makes it a lot more real, and you're like, okay, this isn't a game anymore. Like, this is an actual possibility that I could get deployed and go to those places that I've seen on CNN and on Fox News. So,
right.
Your first deployment, was that to Iraq? 05?
06.
Okay.
So the entire year, or no, the end of 06, the entire year of 07. And then we got back at the very end of 07, but some of our guys came back early 08.
What which area were you at?
I was in Iskandariya, so it was about 40 miles south of Baghdad along the Euphrates. So the majority of our unit was in Fob Kalsu, but
describe for everyone who doesn't know, like, what was like a typical day-to-day operation for you?
fucking getting blown up.
Yeah, because at that point, like, they had kind of reverted to just non-conventional methods. And were you guys going on like mounted patrols or?
Yeah, I mean, every day was mounted patrols, and you come back and do FOB security, and we'd get hit 1 to 2 times a day.
Damn. Do you know how big these bombs were?
Yeah, I mean, some of them were, well, now that you make me think of like size-wise, I mean, it was enough to completely shred a Humvee, that fully up-armored Humvee, or a.
That was gonna be my next question. Was this was pre like MRAPs, so you guys were just kind of rolling around in up-armored Humvees?
They were just starting to come out towards the end, I think.
Okay.
Of when we were there, but yeah, we were rolling around in Humvees, up-armored Humvees, but we were losing so many of them though that they had trouble supplying us with new ones.
I had a guy on the podcast maybe like 10 episodes ago. But yeah, he got hit in Afghanistan and was in an MRAP, and it fucking, I think it was like a 2-ton bomb. It fucking shredded the MRAP, but saved his life, Came out with, a spinal cord injury from it, but could have been a whole lot worse. It's just like the And you look at like when we went into Afghanistan in 2001, like the equipment that we had then compared to what we're rocking with now is just insane.
Oh yeah, like I know buddies in Iraq when the initial invasion, and they were rolling through it. They didn't have armor.
Yeah,
they just had the light doors, you know, the not even the metal doors, like the flimsy fucking.
Yeah, a lot of them were just putting either sandbags down or just
like
they're
the
sappy plates.
They're fucking
putting the sappy plates down. I mean, they were still using like A2s.
Yeah,
you know, M16 A2s. I don't even think because I know the Marines got rid of the A2 in boot camp, and now we do everything with an ACOG. So we don't even teach iron sights anymore.
Really?
Yeah, which I disagree with, because if you're gonna have that like kind of that Marine creed, like every Marine a rifleman.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta learn on iron sights, because I don't know how many of your fellow recruits in boot camp had ever handled a rifle before, but I'd be willing to say maybe 2 out of 5 people, Marine recruits, have probably never handled a rifle.
Right.
So I don't know. I just feel like the fundamentals, you learn on iron sights and then you work your way up from there. But
that's the way I do it.
Sure. Yeah, they probably figured the fucking.
I feel like the Army still probably, I'm sure, uses iron sights to train. I mean, I've been out for a while.
Yeah, but you guys only shoot like what, 50 yards?
50 yards. I shoot out to 100 qualifying, 300 qualifying. 300?
Yeah.
So you do a 300-yard range with pop-up targets and day and night.
So we do 2, 3, and 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We do 2, 3, and 5, and then a 25 and a 50.
I think our advanced marksmanship, we go out to 800 meters iron sight.
Yeah. You can't even kill anything with the 223. It's very hard. Was that wasn't your only deployment, right?
No, it was, yeah.
Just one?
Mm-hmm.
What made you make the decision to want to leave the Army?
It was a couple different things. I got blown up over there a couple times. One good enough to.
That's one good reason.
Yeah. I mean, there was the couple. The other was, so it was giving me migraines coming back after getting blown up. And then my knee being shot, jumping over canals and shit. But then we lost 53 guys in my unit, about 2 guys a day for about 8 months straight. So I was just so fucking tired of losing people that my time was up. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the National Guard, try to take kind of a break for a bit.
Yeah.
See how that goes. And then my knee fully blew out in the Guard. And so they're like, all right, we're just going to let you go.
Well, that's such a heavy toll on one unit,
Yeah.
And it's like, kind of brings up the question, like, because we've been at this, the longest sustained period of conflict in U.S. history. And for you to just go through that on one deployment, but you imagine the guys that are going on like multiple deployments or back-to-backs, and it's just like, when do we say, all right, enough's enough? Like, hey, Sergeant Bramwell, like you've seen enough. Let's bring you back to the rear echelon and put you like in a training unit, or
right.
Give you some time to like decompress, because I feel like when it comes to what like one person can handle and put up with, it's like filling up a cup.
Yeah.
And everyone's cup is different, and everyone is gonna, like when you pour something, it's like it's not always a consistent pour where you're gonna react to something different than I'm gonna react to it. But it's like at a certain point that cup's gonna overfill.
Right.
So you're gonna have to fucking let it sit still for a minute and let the fucking water drain out, or whatever analogy you want to use.
Well, that's why I always kind of envied Marines in the sense of their deployments. Usually it wasn't more than like 6 months.
We when I was in, it was based off a 9-month rotation.
9 month.
Yeah. Which if I remember right, the Army was on a 13 to 15.
Yeah, we get extended while I was there
Yeah.
to 15 months.
Yeah, and they can just do that when it's just like, I even think just do it 15 right off the bat, you know, versus dangling that little 13 carrot.
Yeah.
And now your family's thinking you're coming home and you're thinking you're coming home. And then it's like you find out and you got to make that phone call. And it's like,
Well, that's what happened to us over there, man. I mean,
yeah,
they extended our deployment mid-deployment on us, so we had to break everyone's hearts back home, let them know.
Do you think we should have had a draft?
I feel almost like Israel. Like
Yeah.
Everyone is mandatory to serve so many years and then they can do whatever they want, kind of thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like America would definitely benefit from that, in the sense of, even if people don't want to pursue a career in the military, at least they're learning a lot of those responsibilities and things.
Well, you put an investment into the country.
Yeah.
And I've always gone back and forth between this topic of, mandatory service, and it's like the pluses are definitely like you're not only giving back to the country, but you're sorry, word. You have an investment. Let's say it's a mandatory 3 or 4 year service.
Right.
It's like those are 3-4 years of your life, like, so, quote unquote, your best years.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like if you did that, you wouldn't have people wanting to burn the flag.
Yeah.
Or people so quick to, try to jump ship and just be pissed off at the U.S. Because until you get outside of the U.S., you don't know how great we have it. And that goes for people that think that we have it great, the people that think that Team America, that's like the U.S. is the greatest country on earth, but they haven't been anywhere else. So
Right.
what are you comparing this to? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So, and I guarantee you saw that when you went to Indonesia, was like getting outside that first world bubble.
Oh yeah, dude.
Just
That, Iraq, all of it, man. Just seeing,
right.
realizing the benefits that we have being here, just to the basics of sewage and trash and
Yeah, trash pickup's huge.
yeah, or fresh water even.
Yeah.
like,
In most places in the
Yeah.
U.S. But yeah, that's going to be one thing that our kids are going to have to figure out, because we're not doing, like, our generation's not doing enough right now. But
Yeah.
the clean water issue, it's like, I forget what the stat is, but there's something like an average woman in Africa has to spend like 4 hours a day to obtain clean water.
wow.
Yeah, and I'm probably totally butchering that, but it's something like that. And it's kind of weird because, the we take a shit in a toilet bowl and we're flushing a gallon of water, of drinkable clean water
Yeah.
every time. Every time we freaking take a piss, every time
We don't realize how good we have it a lot of the times, man. Especially till you go over there and you're like, oh shit, man. Like, they don't even have, I can't even flush toilet paper here. I got to throw it in a bucket when I'm done.
Yeah. So now going back to mandatory service, here's my argument against it is when I joined, I joined the Marines because I didn't want to just join the Army, because I wanted to kind of separate myself from the people that wanted to be there versus the people that have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens when there's a period of war is most of the recruiting numbers go down. Besides the Marines, those go up. Those are the guys that know what they're getting into,
Mm-hmm.
where I feel like on the Army's end, I mean, there's still great soldiers out there, and I've worked with a few of them. But then you're also still more likely to get those people that are just coming in for the college benefits,
Right.
or because they don't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like the Marines don't have those people either, because we do, but it just seemed.
I think you just see it on a lot larger of a scale in the Army, because the Army is bigger than any branch of any other service.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
that's also the case. Is it's a
more
bigger
boats than the Navy, more planes than the Air Force.
it's a bigger sample pool.
Yeah.
But no, what I liked when we, like when I joined in '08 was that it was an all volunteer force.
Right.
So that way, like when you're out there, that the man at your left and the man at your right volunteered for that job. No one's forcing him to do it. There wasn't a draft, and because I always think about that with like Vietnam. We always gave kind of the draft dodgers a bad rap, which deservingly so, because your country called for you and you tucked tail and ran. But it was like, do you really want that person with a rifle watching your back, in a fighting hole?
Yeah.
Or like, can you depend on that person to stay awake during fire watch? So
I think that's the advantage too of going up higher as far as towards like Rangers, special forces,
tier groups. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you get more and more people that are completely committed to be there, not there just to check it out and then be like, oh, I don't fucking like this kind of thing.
Yeah. No, you certainly see that. I mean, I think that's a universal truth in almost all branches.
Right.
Because the harder it is to, it just keeps going down that filter.
Yeah.
And you get rid of the weak. And that's that was one thing I really liked about the military system, was that it was just a dog eat dog world. And like, you might be an alpha male in your hometown of 1,000 people, or you might be like a state champion, but hey, you're going to get thrown in with 3 other state champions.
Yep.
It's like, all right, we're going to find out who the real alpha is.
Yeah, big mix of the pool.
So post-military, what did you come back to Oregon or?
Yeah, I came straight back to Oregon. Joined the National Guard here. Then I got a job as doing funeral honors up at Willamette National Cemetery.
Oh yeah,
as an active guard reserve job.
Okay.
And then I wound up getting out, and yeah.
What was that detail like?
It was tough, man. Like, I thought it would be really, it's really honoring. It's a real special privilege to be able to be a part of that and to do that for people. It also pays a pretty heavy toll psychologically on you too. Just, a lot of the older vets and stuff, and doing funeral honors, it's not as tough. But when you get these guys of your age and you're burying them either due to suicide or, whatever else, getting shit back from war, it's pretty tough, especially when you've already experienced a lot of loss. So
yeah, I've
but it was rewarding.
I actually personally have never been to a military funeral.
Oh really?
I've seen them in like procession,
like
when I go visit like Arlington, and then occasionally when I actually used to live on the north end of Mount Scott, so right next to that cemetery, pretty much. Yeah, I used to ride my bike right by there all the time, and it was like seeing that. But to actually experience it myself, no, I don't. Never had that burden.
I've definitely been to my share of them, unfortunately. So either with that or riding with the Combat Vets Motorcycle Association, doing escorts and stuff. So
yeah, they're pretty active.
Yeah, we're
those guys, and then what's the other one? The Patriot
Guard. Yeah.
You ever ride out to DC during Memorial Day?
I haven't been out there yet on the bike. No.
That's fucking, even not on a bike, but just to be there, just to see it is incredible.
Yeah.
Like DC I've been to DC just a handful of times, but they usually fall on a holiday. I was there for 4th of July one year and then Memorial Day. And it was great time to be there. That's when my patriotism takes a complete spike. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, it just makes you feel so proud to be an American, even despite whatever else we got going on, and like whatever's going on in the world or in this country. It's like you go to DC on those 2 holidays, and I would imagine Veterans Day is probably the same kind of vibe. Yeah. But it's just fucking incredible because you're just like, you really feel like you're a part of something.
Yeah.
That like, I mean, coming from just two veterans, it's just like we have put our names into the history books and became not just a an American civilian, but like an actual citizen of the country. Like we have something invested into it, like blood, sweat, tears.
Right.
I mean, man hours. Like, we gave this country a part of our lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, I've been to DC once, and it was pretty amazing, especially going to Arlington National Cemeteries.
Have you heard
my guys from my deployment were buried there? So
Section 60?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's usually that's where most
They're
of
all really close to each other too, like 3 guys in one row and 1 guy in the row behind them.
You ever hear of Ruck to Remember?
Mm-hmm.
I did that. I think it was 2000. Fuck, when was that? It was a couple years ago. It was like maybe 17 or 18. But that was an incredible experience. We just did the final miles. So what it is it's there's a thing, they do the 60 to 60, and it's a 60-mile movement. I think they start at Harper's Ferry.
Yeah.
And they march 60 miles to Arlington, Section 60. You can do the full 60, or you can do what's called the final miles. The final miles, you meet them on the last day at the Iwo Jima War Memorial. The big,
cool.
Marines raising the flag on Iwo Jima. You march from there down to D.C., down through the National Mall, past all the different war memorials. Then you cross the bridge and you end up at Arlington, Section 60. And it's a fucking sombering moment. Just seeing all those gravestones. And it's just like, just rows and rows. You're just like, shit, like that's somebody's kid, somebody's father, somebody's brother, somebody's sister. And you're just like, not to get like too cliche, but it's like freedom isn't free.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's what my arm says.
Yeah, it is what it says.
Freedom isn't free, baby.
I don't know why I've never even took the time to read it.
Well, part of it's kind of shaded out from motorcycle accident. Kind of took away part of my tattoo, but
what's the other one say?
It says peace through strength.
Yeah, a couple names there.
Yeah, it's my best friend Ryan that died with me over there, and then my first roommate from Alaska, Adam, that died with me over there.
Yeah, you big tattoo guy. You're just showing the 2 that you just got.
Yeah, well, I'm getting there. I want to get more for sure. But yeah,
talking full sleeves, full body.
I don't know about full body, but definitely extending into some sleeves, I think, and some other stuff on my back and chest. So
I keep thinking about getting some, but I'm just like, I don't know if I can sit through the pain anymore.
Yeah, I had to take a shot. It was the one on my chest was it wasn't too bad, but sometimes it felt like it was like piercing my nipple, and it wasn't even close to it, but just because of the nerves, it fucking was like.
I got some right in the same spot, and like it wasn't a comfortable feeling. But the ones that I just not recently, but like my most recent ones, I got on my arms, and I feel like those ones hurt more.
Yeah.
But that was also like post injury, and I kind of got this theory of like, since I have like impaired sensation, that what I do feel is kind of like heightened.
Does that work out with like when you're masturbating? Does that help?
Oh, the impaired sensation?
Yeah.
If you're asking about my bus game, it's on leave. It's been a while, but I'm sure a guy like you can help me.
Yeah, I'll be your wingman.
No, I want to get some more, but it's just like, I feel like I'd have to be like heavily medicated.
Yeah.
Just I don't know if I can sit.
Let's do it.
I almost got one in Vegas.
Take it out and get drunk. And
I wanted to do 3 bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like kind of like the old World War II like nose art. When they would do like the bombs for each bombing mission.
Right.
So I wanted to do 3 because we won 3 games at rugby nationals last year. So I was just going to do 3 and then just keep adding on as we go. And I don't know, hopefully eventually just have a whole fucking bicep full of bombs. But we'll see.
There you go.
Anyways, so like post-military, you got out of the National Guard, and then like what was next?
I tried going back to school for a while. Tried working. Didn't realize they had programs for disabled vets to help them out, where like you can do like private testing, or you don't have to be around a big group of people, or recorders. Because like for me, just being back in the city and being around so many fucking people was just like.
Were you going to just community college or?
Yeah. I got my EMT while I was in the military. They paid for us before we deployed.
Oh, nice.
So I got certified for Alaska, and then when I got out, I was like, well, I'll try to come back and get my EMT here just to have it, because it's a good thing to have. And we'll end up having to go through the core program twice to pass in a curriculum I'd already passed before, because I just couldn't, like, just being in groups of people and testing in groups and stuff all of a sudden was like, I just had these issues that I hadn't dealt with before that made it harder to retain.
Well, also, how old were you at this point?
25 or 6 maybe.
So you were kind of the old kid in class.
Yeah, I was a little older too, so there's a lot of annoying fucking millennials.
Well, yeah, just inexperienced young adults,
which wasn't so bad, but
it was for me.
Okay, yeah, you're right. It was fucking.
No, dude, you don't have to be. You don't have to be coy. Like, I went back a couple different times. I think I was like 22, maybe 21 the first time, and it was still weird. But I mean, as of most recently, I think it was like 29 or 30, and I was just like, fuck, I can't relate to these people anymore, you know? Like, it's just like,
just on a whole nother level.
Yeah. And that, I mean, it did kind of like affect the transitioning process, because it was just like, you go from a militaristic society where
people have respect to
you know your place. I mean, either based on the respect you have for someone or their, collar device. But it was a system that to an extent worked, where it was like, all right, this guy outranks me, so I'm not going to I have to talk to him a certain way. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily like I have to just fucking suck his dick, kiss his ass, but like I can't smoke and joke with him like I will with my boy, and it's like you feel the same way about like officers and teachers, but like the level of disrespect I saw sometimes from these kids that were just acting out. And you know what? The biggest outburst that I ever saw in my community college career, which expands probably 6 years. Yeah. I've been in community college forever. I'm still in community college. Yeah. But was an army vet who just fucking exploded one day. Really? Just went on this fucking wild rant, fucking stormed out of the room. I was just like, all right, that just set fucking the veteran community back a couple years, yeah. But no, he was dealing with his own things. Yeah. It's like you try to reach out to someone so much, but at one point it's like self-destructive behaviors just it's gonna fucking boil over. You can't bottle that shit up all the time. Right. Sometimes you just gotta fucking let it out. And you look at it like, I mean, an artist or someone who's creating art, it's like his freedom of expression, and that's how he's gonna express himself. And that's how I always feel like with veterans, it's like we're already kind of on unstable ground. Like, I mean, to volunteer for combat, essentially. Yeah. It takes a special kind of crazy. Yeah.
Sign your life
and
away.
it's something that, yeah, like no college level course or high school is going to be able to prepare you for.
Yeah.
Um,
'Cause it takes some balls to actually sign that shit away and be like, you know what, I'm gonna put myself in someone else's life's hands.
you can call it balls. I say you got to be missing a little bit of sanity. But it it comes back down to just transitioning. Like, you can't expect society to meet you the entire way and be completely accommodating. And it's like, I always feel like a lot of the guys that have struggle like with their transition is because they don't want to adapt to the changing environment, which is kind of weird to say, just because, I mean, the military has always just been all about just adapting to change. It's
Right.
like we finally get thrown out of the system, and it's just a whirlwind of just like, what the fuck? Like, what am I gonna do now? And
A lot of us like to isolate, man. Just fucking get away.
which, I understand that, and I had thoughts like that too. It's just like, just go get a cabin in like Eastern Oregon and just
Yeah.
live out your days. Which, I mean, to be honest, it doesn't sound that bad. But I also feel like meeting other people that have shared like similar experiences can really help with that healing process or that transitional period.
Right.
Because like with me, like getting injured, I came back I got injured in July, did all my rehab in Southern California, and then came back to Oregon in November. And I had heard about like wheelchair rugby and all that. And one of the players came out to the house and did like a little home visit, and was just kind of that, hey, I'm paralyzed too, and this ain't over, and like it's only beginning. And
Right.
I was just like, I'm not ready to hear any of this. And I just kind of hung out at home. Netflix had just dropped their streaming service, so I was like, all right,
Nice.
I get to just watch fucking TV shows and movies and play online poker.
Yeah.
And then, I got dragged to a rugby game, and that was when things really started to change for me, was hanging out with people with similar disabilities.
Right. Yeah.
And like just learning from them and hearing their stories, and like, oh, like this guy's, he holds down a 40-hour work week, and this guy, works out all the time and is on the, Paralympic team. And it was like, oh, okay. Like maybe there is more to life than just watching Friday Night Lights on Netflix and lose my money at online poker.
Right.
So, but I feel like the veterans that isolate themselves are taking the longer road. Not saying it's not the correct road or anything, to take, but I think it's definitely the longer drawn out process. Where if you reach out and find guys in your community, whether that be through like, the VFW or any of the other organizations, or a lot of guys now, they're getting on board with like, organizations like Operation Enduring Warrior, where they go out and do Spartan races and stuff. It's like just finding that community. All right, here's a question. What would you say is the thing that you miss the most about being in the Army?
What I miss most?
Yeah. Don't say the chow.
No, it was not the chat, definitely. I'd say the Brotherhood, man. Just the constant being around those guys that you're with, whether you love or hate them, they got your back. And
yeah.
And then just the feeling of knowing that you're on top of your game, you're the best of the best at that moment. I mean, you're an elite fighting force, and you're trusted enough to be put in another country to, defend the guys next to you and do what you can to help out these people. So
yeah, I've asked that question to a lot of veterans prior service, and I don't think anyone else has ever said anything besides the camaraderie, the brotherhood.
It's missing that purpose too,
Yeah, for
purpose
sure.
in life.
When you're active, like when you're on active duty, like pretty much everything's laid out in front of you. You're just like,
it's all
this
taken
is
care of,
exactly
money,
why
food.
you're here. Don't worry about the food. Don't worry about where you're going to sleep.
Just focus on being a badass warrior.
Yeah, this is your one job. Focus on this.
Yeah.
But no, certainly I 100% agree with you. It's the Brotherhood, and even just the little things. I mean, like so the Marines, we have squad bays from boot camp to infantry school.
Mm-hmm.
And then my MOS school, we all had squad bays. So it was like waking up next to the guy that you're going to get to go PT with, and then the guy that you're going to go to class with, and then the guy you're going to have to fucking clean the shitters with. It was like day in and day out, just waking up next to those guys, or going out to the smoke pit all the time, just being with your buddies, or even not just your buddies, but like just being around guys that you might necessarily, let's say, for example, you have a problem with this particular guy or this soldier in your unit. Like, it's not like college where, you might only see him in class and then you go off your separate ways.
Yeah.
Like, you live together. You guys are in the same barracks. You guys might be freaking roommates or, your neighbors. And it's like, what are you going to do? Like, you have a problem with this guy. Like, are you going to talk shit to him on social media? Like, like, I wasn't in when
that was a thing,
like Facebook or Twitter or all that. Like, that wasn't really a thing. But like, I imagine now, like, people, like, if we were in the same unit and I had a problem with you, I'm not gonna fucking go and write a tweet, be like, Eric Bramwell's a fucking piece of shit. No. # piece of shit. Like, I'm gonna just go up to your face after hours,
settle in the barracks.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch you in the smoke pit. I'm gonna be like, hey, dude.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Let's get it.
It's
I wish more people were like that these days, where they could just, fisticuffs it out, and then all right, it's over. No
that's
fucking
the thing.
feelings
Yeah.
hurt.
No, that's actually an important thing to remember, because like, if shit were to ever go down, which this is a completely fictional scenario. Like, I don't think you and I would ever fucking have an argument unless it was like, I don't know, if I was, it probably would have been me being a shitty person. Something I did when I was,
don't know, I could be an asshole.
Something I did when I was drunk. But you become like kind of a sweetheart when you're drunk. There's sometimes when I become an asshole when I get too fucking sauced up. But
I try to stay away from angry drunk Eric.
Dude, I have an alter ego named Compton Tim. And it's become sort of this running joke that I don't like, because it's it's this dude that just shows up sometimes when I have too much to drink, and he's just an angry, pissed off dude.
Just an asshole.
He straight up is an asshole, and it's just like, I'm trying to get him under control. And I've been better. It's been, I don't know, maybe about 3 years since the last Compton Tim appearance.
Yeah.
But no, going back to the fake scenario where me and you got into a fight for whatever reason, and be like, at the end of it, we'd be like, all right, we cool?
Yeah,
we cool. We go get a beer?
Let's drink.
Want to go get a beer?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was...
That's how it should be.
It's a fucking... It really is an interesting...
Like, I'm going to go home, grab a gun, come back and shoot you. Like, what the fuck is that?
Right. It's such a huge escalation. It's just... Like, the way things are in the military is just such a weird ecosystem of, like, testosterone and... I mean, you think about it, dude. We're all just a bunch of kids.
Yeah, especially when you go in. I mean, look at a lot of these guys, privates. They're all 18 to 22. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think what was it,
like, young guys.
The average age is like 24, which is like, I mean, you think about like the scale. It's like all the old, E8s and up, E8s, E9s, and then all the majors and shit. They're all fucking in their 30s. It's like, that could be us if we were still in.
Some of the guys I trained, they're still in, man. Like, I remember one guy I took to the board. Now he's like a sergeant major and shit. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
That could have been me.
Yeah, I had one of my buddies that I went in. He just completed his recruiting duty, and he's a gunnery sergeant now, and off to recon school actually.
Nice.
But that's just weird that like, yeah, we all like we went to the same high school and everything. We got recruited together, and now he just finished a recruiting tour.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. Makes you feel old.
All right.
So now what are you doing now, like with your time?
I do a lot of volunteering when I can. Kevin got me plugged in with our buddy Kevin Pinnell got me plugged in with the Bahala Dive Group and over the Rainbow Scuba and stuff, doing some scuba diving, which has been awesome.
How'd you meet Kevin? Because that was kind of our mutual friend.
Yeah.
Who kind of linked us together.
Well, I'd actually met Kevin years ago snowboarding on the mountain. That fool used to hit the tabletops up at T-Line and had banners and stuff of him around. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, he was pretty well known in the ski community as being one of the, you see the one guy up there wearing a pair of shorts and no legs hitting the tabletops, you kind of get recognized. And I'd met him, but he didn't remember me. And then later on, I met him through a mutual friend, and we started talking and found out we lived really close together. So we just started hanging out. And and he got me plugged in with the whole diving thing. So
yeah. And like, were you ever interested in diving before?
I've always been interested, but it's always been kind of one of those things that you see as like a rich person's kind of.
Dude, that's exactly
sport,
what I thought.
Like there's no way I can ever do it. I don't have the money.
Yeah.
Plus, why would you want to do it here? It's all fucking cold and, But
I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but it's like my thoughts of scuba diving before I actually did it was like, why would I ever do that? That's like a rich white person sport.
Yeah. And now you're like, holy shit.
Oh, dude, I mean, you know how it is, dude. Yeah. Like, it's amazing. Once you get under the water and get the fucking weight of the world off your shoulders, and you're just like, damn, it's pretty nice down here. It's quiet. You don't have to fucking worry about your bills or your stress or anything. Like, you leave all that on the surface.
Right.
You sink under, and you're just like,
it's a whole new world.
Yeah, if I don't focus on what's directly in front of me, what I'm seeing through my mask, like I could be in a world of trouble.
Yeah.
And it's, I think a lot of it has to do with, for me, it's kind of twofold, where it's the weightlessness of being under the water, where, my back doesn't hurt, and like my joints and everything just doesn't hurt. And I can free myself from the sitting position of being in a wheelchair. Because like I can play
stretch yourself out.
Right. I can play wheelchair rugby, and I can go hand cycle or use my mountain trike to get up a hill, but I'm always sitting and I'm always confined to a thing with wheels.
Right.
Whereas like scuba diving, it's like nothing. I'm just weightless under the water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then it's just being in an environment where you don't have any like sound sensory, hardly any,
Yeah.
And it's just, you're just focusing on your breathing.
You're in the moment.
Yeah, man.
That's why I love it, man.
What, did it take any convincing to get you to do? Like, was there any fears? Because apparently there's some people that like have a fear of being under the water and not being able to breathe.
No, I've never really had that fear, man. I always look forward to it. Obviously, there's times in there where you're like, it's a new thing. You're fighting that little bit of anxiety of like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Am I doing this right? Oh crap. Did I remember to do everything right? I don't want to die,
Yeah. I never really had that like, oh shit moment. There was one moment in like the pool training when I looked up and I was like, oh, I'm under like 15 feet of water.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't natural. But I don't know. I guess I've always been pretty comfortable in the water. So.
I had a little bit of an oh shit moment in Indonesia.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, or this last month. Yeah, man. I saw those black and white coral snakes, I guess, which are super venomous and they swim. And so I'd seen one that day, and then we did a night dive that night. And they have these little black and white things that swim at you that look just like them, but they're not the same. Not venomous.
Yeah.
As it's like dark, and all of a sudden you swing your light around, and you have these little black and white things coming straight at you. You have like fucking little heart attack. Like, oh my God, dude, this thing is like the most venomous thing in the world. It's coming towards my light. And then you turn it off and you're in fucking blackness again. Like, okay, hopefully they swim away, you turn it back on, they start coming back at you again. You're like, oh, okay.
Night diving's a trip, man. Like, I enjoy it. Like, the shit you can see under there.
It's cool.
But at the same time, it's just like,
you get a little bit of anxiety.
Yeah.
I do.
I think it's just the unknown. And it's like, what else can be out there?
Because in the blackness, it's like you can't even tell what way's up or down sometimes. You know?
What was after you got certified here in Oregon, right?
Well, I did my final certification in Bonaire. I did my free dives there. Yeah,
and that was the first Bonaire trip, right?
Yeah.
How was that getting in the open water?
I mean, it was obviously it's a whole new experience, you know. So there's obviously a little bit of nerves at first, but once you get it and figure it out, man, it's a whole new world. Like, it just opens up your eyes to a whole nother thing of the world and the sea that you would never see.
Yeah.
You know, if you weren't scuba diving. So
right. Yeah, it's like the entire focus, it seems like, of our generation is like, let's get to Mars and terraform Mars. And I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. That definitely would be great for the species. But it's like we have so much that we still need to explore here.
Yeah.
And we still need to figure out how to make this planet work.
Right.
Before we go terraform another one and then fuck that one up.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, how many times are you going to be able to get to do that?
There's so much of the ocean, man, we don't even know about.
Yeah.
Things we're still discovering that, you know, people haven't even seen before. So
yeah. And it's just like, it's kind of almost sad where we're like destroying it at this insurmountable rate. Just with, you know, things warming up and then just the trash and all the coral getting bleached out. And it's like, the fuck are we going to do if we lose the ocean? Because that's really that's really the only thing that makes this planet special.
Yeah.
Is that we have water. And it's like, and then, so was the second Bonaire trip, was that your second overseas dive trip, or did you do anything in between then?
That was my second overseas, but we did Clackamas River does a yearly cleanup between like Barton to Carver.
Yep.
So we went down there and
probably picked up a few of my beer cans from back in the day.
Yeah, probably a few of mine too. Used to love floating that, but so we go out there and we do river cleanup with these mesh bags, and that was kind of my first experience of like cold water, and then in a current and stuff. So
yeah, that must have been different.
It's a little sketchier here as opposed to like warm, chill water that's blue that you can see in. Whereas here, then it's like dark. Visibility isn't as great.
How deep are we talking?
Not even deep, man. Like 10, 15 feet, maybe 20 feet.
That's deep enough.
But you can't see anything, and there's like trees overhanging underwater that you can get snagged on. And I mean, it's not too bad, but it's just it's a different diving experience.
I read an article in the Oregonian about that, and it kind of piqued my interest. Yeah. And I was like, man, if I could do that safely, that would be cool. Because back in my wilder years, when we would float, you know, that river, it was like, can't guarantee that all 12 beer cans from my 12-pack made it back.
Yeah.
I can't offer that guarantee. But, and then you and I met on the second Bonaire trip. We were actually roommates.
Yeah, man, that was a good time.
It was a wild time, man. It was fun. I would 100% just pack up everything and just fucking move there if it were at all a reasonable, plausible thing.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it might be, but there's something special about that place, man.
It's pretty amazing, dude.
Just the island life. Just the tempo of living.
The people there, and just even on a bad day, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So what's the plan? We move there. We open up a
motorcycle / Wheelchair shop.
Is that a big market? I was thinking more of like a barbecue joint.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have many of those there.
Yeah. I wonder why, but I think if we can get a good rib recipe, maybe some beef.
There you go.
Use some of that Bonaire sea salt for the seasoning.
Yeah. That was a weird thing there, man. Like most restaurants, they had American salt, and they didn't have any Bonaire salt at the.
Yeah, and they're like known for their salt mines.
Their salt mines, yeah.
I actually still have.
Some of their.
We should have. You know, next time you come over and we do barbecue, because that smoked sea salt that I bought, goes really good on like a rack of ribs or like a good brisket, just to give it that little bit of like pep from the salt, and then the smoke kind of just brings out a little bit more.
Nice.
But yeah, no, we do. I don't know if you saw the Traeger on the front porch, but we do.
I did, yeah.
We do a mean barbecue here. Nice. We actually smoked an apple pie for Thanksgiving.
Really?
It's fucking incredible. Wasn't like blow your mind incredible, but it was
I've
like
never even thought about doing that.
The little extra effort was. Yeah. It definitely paid dividends. It worked out really well. Everybody was just like, "Damn, this pie's." We did it on a cast iron too.
Okay.
So it turned out really well, man.
Nothing like homemade apple pie.
I love it.
All it is. Yeah.
Love it. Man, so we're already like over an hour. Got a couple more questions. Oh, yeah, let's actually go back to diving. What are your goals like with scuba? Like how far do you want to take this thing?
You know, I don't know. That right now it's kind of the sky's the limit or the ocean's the limit.
All right.
But well, right now I think I'm gonna look into getting the adaptive
the scubility.
Yeah. So I can because I definitely like it's awesome for me to dive, but then it also gives me a purpose to be able to help other vets and help them with diving.
I'll tell you, I certainly appreciate it.
Yeah.
The Bonaire trip would not have been the same without you guys like you and Chris and Tyler, just to, you know, help lift me up and get my wetsuit on or get me in the water.
Oh yeah, man. What's
I mean, you went the extra mile because you were my roommate, but like, you know, helping me get up in the shower and everything. I was like, yeah, I just, I wish there was 30 hours in the day and I could have came out and hung out with you guys a little bit more, you know, in the after hours and the evening hours. But
well, you have your own set of challenges that you have to deal with. You know?
A lot of it is just, I enjoy my sleep. I don't get enough of it. And it was just nice being on the island, just being able to relax and just chill and just like, dang, I don't really have to worry about, you know, food or
nothing.
Yeah, this is like I'm just here to scuba dive.
Yeah,
everything else is just bonus, you know. So
I tell you what, we did get a little spillover in Indonesia though, because they carried all our gear for us.
Oh yeah,
never had to lift our tanks or gear or BCs or nothing.
Dang, that's nice.
That was kind of
that's cool. Nice to get back to work. Like,
yeah.
I mean, the folks in Bonaire are pretty good.
Yeah, oh no,
most
they were
boat
awesome.
Crews are good. Yeah, Indonesia. Yeah, my one of my biggest regrets with my diving certification is I had just postponed it so much. I was just like, I've been looking to get certified like all through the spring and like the early summer, just kept putting it off.
Yeah.
And then I finally nailed down a date, and it was like the day after I got back from Bali. I went to Bali for a rugby tournament, and while we were there, we had a day off where we had an opportunity to go scuba diving, and one of my buddies, you know, we were there for rugby, but he's like, "Hey, I'm certified." So he just rented his gear and went diving and said the wildlife was just incredible.
Nice.
He'd been all over the Caribbean. That was his first time in, you know, Southeast Asia. It was just like,
jeez.
It was incredible. And I was like, fuck, I'm getting certified like next week. Yeah. Like if only I'd have just fucking got my shit together.
Yeah.
I could have done it with you. But no, it was one of those life lessons. But I was just like, all right, I'm all in for me moving forward. Like rugby's gonna start taking a back burner on things, and I think 2020, 2021 is just gonna be all about just scuba diving and just kind of progressing through all the different level certifications and maybe get into some tech diving.
That's kind of what I'm hoping towards too, man. Is definitely more, not just helping, but then also improving in my dive abilities to be able to do.
Yeah. I mean, eventually I want to get into like cave diving and stuff.
Yeah.
Cave diving and become more of a proficient like wreck diver. And, who knows? Eventually, just maybe get rebreathe certified and
go to truck. I want to go to truck, man. That looks like so cool.
That's I think that's like number one on my diving bucket list.
Yeah, maybe that's number one on mine too right now.
And from what I've heard is just like if you're gonna spend all that money to get all the way there and all that time, it's like you should get rebreathe certified, or at the very least like a trimix.
Right.
That way you can kind of extend your bottom time.
Check out all that World War II awesomeness under there.
Oh yeah, especially if you're a history buff, like get down there and just see it, and like
that's cool, man.
Kind of like get that slap of reality, because I mean my only experience with World War II would be like stories I heard from my grandpa or different documentaries, different documentaries and stuff, but it's like until you actually see it.
Yeah.
And like I know guys, like Marines that were stationed in Okinawa that got to go like tour the caves, and when you see grenade fragments and bullet holes in these like cave walls, or like go to Iwo where you still see like machine gun nests and old equipment that they just left there.
It's crazy.
It's like, oh shit, this really happened.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah.
It was 2 generations ago.
Yeah.
Like not even 100 years.
Right.
How insane is that? So yeah, no, I'm thinking just next year, man, it's just going to be all about scuba diving, and then towards the end of the year I'm going to get into hunting. So I'm going to scuba dive as much as I can during like the warm months, and then right afterwards, man, I'm going to looking to book some like out of state hunts and get out. Like
I'd like to get back into hunting too, man. I love that shit.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
No, there's plenty of organizations out there, and then even just I'm hoping by next hunting season I'm gonna have my full size van all kitted out that I'll be able to live out of.
There you go.
And I can always throw a rooftop tent on there for you, buddy.
Oh yeah.
And then
I don't mind sleeping outside if I'm doing something fun.
Yeah, we could certainly just tent it, and then no, man, it's just getting out there and like getting out to like Eastern Oregon. I want to look at like Idaho, Montana, Colorado, Wyoming, Texas, Georgia. Let's get out there. I'm actually kind of debating if I want to pull the trigger on this crossbow.
Yeah,
do some out of state crossbow hunting, because
cool.
Oregon doesn't allow it right now.
Yeah,
but do some out of state crossbow hunting would be fun, and then
tits.
Just whatever else. I mean, I'm all about. I love fucking game meat, so it's like if I can get out and get an elk, nice. if I can get like 2 elk and a deer, that should be set for the year for me.
Oh yeah, dude, that's good.
I feel like I could live off.
Lucky if you get all 3 of those. I mean, I'm lucky if I get 1 a year. 1 deer.
Oh, that's the point. Like you go out of state, and
that's what I got to do. Yeah,
just take every option that's available to you. Because this year I didn't get anything. I was actually kind of disappointed. I was just like, damn it, I fucking gotta go to Costco and buy my meat. So, anyways, we're well past an hour, but before I let you go,
penis,
did a little bit of scouting.
My mom's probably gonna be listening.
Oh no. Yeah, I can edit it out for you.
No, it's
for a fee.
What do you charge?
We're gonna end it kind of unconventionally, but I did do a little bit of recon, because I was like, I'd messaged Kevin. I was like, "Yo, I got Chops coming over.
Yeah.
Like, what would be some funny questions to ask him?"
Oh shit!
And he's like, "Ask him about Disney Plus." And I was like, "You might be the oldest single male that doesn't have kids that owns Disney Plus.
Well, let's
please
be clear
explain
here,
yourself.
My parents gave me the info to their account. I didn't actually pay for this, but I was like, oh, I'll check it out. You know, they mentioned they had the new Star Wars Mandalorian series on there.
Yeah.
So I watched that, and then I just got sucked into all these like 70s old school movies that like, you know, the happy good feel good, like Old Yeller and Swiss Family Robinson. And
I didn't know those were Disney.
yeah, these old, like, not cartoons. So I haven't been sucked into the cartoons, but like these
The
older,
old live
like,
action, no,
live,
like
yeah.
the Little House on the Prairie kind of shit.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But they just have that happy go feel good feeling. So I grew up on Disney too, so I'm not gonna pretend
I got
like
the big TV out there is hooked up
yeah.
with someone's account, but I watched like 15 minutes of The Mandalorian, and I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. I don't know if I ever have the time to fucking watch new things anymore.
Yeah.
But
You're a busy guy.
what else are you like? You have Netflix?
Yeah, I got Netflix.
You watching anything on that right now?
I kind of finished up everything I was watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever go to the movies?
Yeah, I try to.
You seen the new Joker yet?
I have not.
Oh, dude.
Is it good?
Yeah, I went to go see it 2 days ago.
Oh, no shit.
And it was fucking awesome.
Was it 10 o'clock? That's probably my alarm saying take your meds.
Come on now.
Sorry, dude.
Unprofessional.
I didn't know.
No, man. Yeah, I went to go see it on Saturday, and it was dope as fuck. It was very dark. It wasn't like a superhero movie. It was Taxi Driver skinned with, you know, the DC universe.
Right.
But I thought it was very well done, and just the cinematography and the acting was just fucking brilliant, man. I would really recommend it.
I want to see it. I saw Midway the other day. That was really good.
That's the new war one, right?
Yeah, it's based on the after Pearl Harbor in World War II.
Yeah, the Battle of Midway.
Yeah.
Was that good?
That was really good, yeah. I want to go see Ford versus Ferrari, too. That looks good.
Which one's that?
Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's F1.
Formula
1.
We should go see that.
I'm down.
That'd be a good little date.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
You hold my hand, I'll hold yours.
Let's sit right next to each other.
Yeah.
What happens. They
what happens in the theater stays in the theater.
There are a couple movies coming out that I want to see. One of the trailers, I can't think of it right now, but it was like it was like this youth Nazi camp, like a Hitler youth like camp.
Yeah.
It's about this kid who's grown up. I think it's in Germany, but he's like being indoctrinated into Nazism.
Oh, shit.
And then he finds a Jewish girl hiding like in his closet or some shit, and it becomes like a feel good. I'm pretty sure it's a comedy, but I don't know. The trailer made it look really funny.
It's not every day you find a Jewish girl hiding in your closet,
right? And then it was what's the other one? 1917.
Oh, okay.
World War I.
Yeah,
looks dope as shit.
That does look good. I want to see that. That looks really
kind of
good.
reminds me of so Marines have like this commandant reading list. It's like books that we're like required to read for like rank, or if they just want to play fuck games. It's like,
right.
All right, you guys all have to read this book, and we all had to read Message to Garcia. And if you ask any Marine, I guarantee you he's probably read this book. It's called The Message to Garcia.
Huh.
And 1917 reminds me of kind of that book.
Is it about World War One?
No, it's even before that.
Huh.
I think it might be during like the Spanish Revolution or the French Revolution. It's a fucking old book, but it's just
it's about like when the first Navy guy becomes a Marine.
We've been around since 1775. But yeah, no, it's just a story about a guy who needs to deliver a message.
All right.
So, plus, I don't know, I've been getting like balls deep into World War I, like documentaries and shit.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It was an interesting war. So. The the other thing that I wanted to bring up was how often are you playing video games now?
Am I?
Yeah.
I play a pretty good bit.
Yeah. I just started getting my toes back into it, and it's a fucking slippery slope, dude.
It is, man. It's especially if you smoke weed too, then it's easy to get sucked in.
Dude, I find myself playing the Xbox from like around like right after dinner until almost midnight, and it's just like such a time suck.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck.
That's how I feel about Facebook now, man. I pick up my phone and I start looking at Facebook. I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta put it down.
You know, I'm off.
It's like half an hour.
I'm off of Facebook.
That's good.
I still have like an account, and I created a fake account just so I can like keep up with the podcast like Facebook page,
right?
And then like my Messenger and stuff. But as far as like scrolling the news feed or posting, like I think might have been like a month now, maybe less, but it's
you still got MySpace?
Oh, I've always had MySpace. Yeah. I moved you into my top 8.
I haven't looked at my MySpace in so long.
What? Yeah, man, I sent you a friend request. The fuck? No, I don't even remember my sign-in because it was like a throwaway email account.
I don't even know if MySpace has an app yet because it's so old.
That's a good question. Does MySpace have an app?
I don't know.
You know what's funny is...
Does AOL Dial-Up have an app?
Ever since like MySpace, like that social media era, like MySpace, Facebook, Instagram, I'd say like 95% of my hookups and past relationships have came from social media.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fucking changing world, man.
Tinder and
you know, to be honest with you,
it was Grindr.
I don't have much luck with those like dating apps.
Yeah.
Partly because I think they're all fucking ridiculous, and I don't take them too seriously, and like it's usually like I go to a city because I travel a lot with like rugby, so like I'm in a different city almost at least once a month. I'm in a fucking different city. And what I'll do is I'll get on Bumble and just area canvas and swipe right or whatever on everyone, right?
Yeah.
And then I just try to see like what kind of matches I get in that city. And dude, the weirdest thing, man, I don't know what it is, but almost all my matches are just large black ladies. I mean, like anywhere I go, dude, anywhere I go, Chicago, like Houston, I can go to like Birmingham, be in Nashville, wherever in Florida, California.
I didn't know you had that kind of demographic that you were into.
Apparently, I'm famous with
large black ladies.
But hey, you know what? I'll try anything twice.
Large black ladies need love too.
Jesus, I'm gonna have to change the subject before we get fucking canceled. Hey, before I let you go,
yeah,
you and I had kind of briefly talked about the Seattle to Portland bike ride.
Seattle to Portland, did we?
We did, yeah. I'm gonna bring this up. You might have been sauced that night.
Okay.
But we had talked about maybe doing the Seattle to Portland bike ride this summer.
Like me actually riding it?
Yeah.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah. Because I asked you if
I could probably do
like
that.
What are you doing? And like you'd asked what I was doing. I think I had just done that marathon.
Oh.
And you were like, well, running's out. And I was like, well, I'm looking at doing this bike ride.
I can bike, yeah.
And you can bike.
I can bike.
I'm just gonna find out if you can bike 202 miles in 2 days.
Well, it's a thing that I could probably do.
I think,
I mean, if anything, there's always tow ropes.
100 miles a day doesn't sound like, it sounds like a good challenge, but it sounds reachable.
Yeah, I think if I can ruck 30 miles in a day with 100-something pounds, I should be able to do 30 on a bike a day or 50 or whatever it is.
I think you'll find a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's always, I mean, Uber now. I'm sure they got bike lifts on them too. If I get tired, lift.
Not gonna come down to that. If you quit the Seattle to Portland bike ride, you pretty much just have to leave your bike on the side of the road and just walk home.
Yeah. Just hitchhike it. Just
yeah.
Nah.
Ask Tyler for a ride on his train.
There you go. Yeah.
But no, man. Registration opens up early January.
Okay.
When I was in Vegas, I went to go check out the hand cycle folks.
Yeah.
The hand cycle manufacturer. They're called Lasher. They do like an off-road hand cycle, and checked them out and kind of saw their operation and got to actually, get my hands on one of the bikes, one of the hand cycles there, and we're gonna move forward with that. So
Nice.
hopefully get my hand cycle by the spring and just start putting some miles on the trails.
There you go. I know Kevin was talking about wanting to do that too with you.
Well, let's get him on board.
We need to.
I think that would be a great fundraiser.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can start doing it early, and then taking some videos of like us training and shit, and just open up that fundraiser, and then just start working on just funding these trips, because I haven't heard what we're gonna do, or as far as trips.
What the next one is? Yeah.
I mean, I'm certainly down to go back to Bonaire. I got left out of going to Indonesia, which I'm still a little mad about. But if Indonesia comes up,
Hey.
definitely hope my name is in the hat. And
I've heard there's talk of maybe Cancun next year.
Cancun or Cozumel.
Cozumel, maybe.
Yeah.
One of them.
And I'm always down to go back there.
Mexico.
Like I've gone twice already,
Oh, have you?
and it's got the same kind of chill vibe as Bonaire, but a little bit more of an American flavor, I'd say.
All right.
Like less Dutch people, less Europeans, a little bit more like Americans.
Americanized.
But it's still chill, especially because like the family that I dive with, you met him, like the Houston dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a house down there, so they know a bunch of the locals and stuff, and we know the spots where like you get the tacos and you go to get the freaking the lobster, like where it's at. So
Oh yeah.
I love Cuz. I'll go, dude. We were actually talking about maybe getting a house down there, just a couple of veterans, and then just going,
Just
quarters. Yeah, just go quarters on a house.
Go visit.
Oh yeah, just whenever you just want to be like, all right, I've had enough of.
Peace out.
Yeah, I've had enough of this. I'm gonna go dive for a couple days, clear my mind.
Nice.
So you're on board with Seattle to Portland.
Yeah. Depending on the date, as long as this doesn't interfere with the dive trip, I'd be down.
Yeah, we'll work around that, especially if it's like me, you, and Kevin. If we can both commit to it.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I don't know if any of the other group would be interested, but I'll bring it up with them. Turn it into a big fundraiser.
Yeah. Do you think a keg? I could fit a keg on there?
On a bicycle?
Yeah.
On your bicycle?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to carry around a 85-pound keg.
I'll make it into a backpack, and then
That, like maybe a pony keg for that.
pony keg.
Yeah, for that ride. Might believe you. Or just get one of those
Camelbacks and fill it.
No, get one of those kid trailers for the bikes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and just, because
Yeah. Just tow it behind.
I think you're on to something, buddy. Anyways, we can wrap this thing up, man.
All right, man.
It's getting late. I know I'm ready to go to bed. Might play a little Xbox, but
Yeah, I got about a half-hour drive back, so.
yeah, dude. No, it's getting late. It's dark. We'll wrap this thing up, man. Thanks for coming over, bro.
Yeah, bro. Anytime.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we get to kick it before I hit the road again.
Well, fuck yeah, we better.
Well, we got that date set up.
Yeah.
The
In the movie.
Ferrari movie.
The what? Oh, Ford versus Ferrari. Is that
Yeah,
what?
I think it's already out.
It is. Yeah, it's out.
All right, cool. No, we'll set up a date.
All right, man.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, bro.
All right, guys. That's all we got. See y'all next time.
Peace.